Hi, welcome to Design It with Tammie Gibbs. I'm Tammie. And today I want to dive into Artistly 6, and we're going to be talking all about the user interface. I know that currently that is a big issue that is being discussed on the Paul Pana Facebook group, the Artistly Facebook group. And I just, as a user that started in the beginning on day one of their launch with Artistly and have owned Artistly for that long, using it, making money with it, I felt like I wanted to go in a bigger way rather than just a few comments that I've made on the Facebook group and break down how Artistly really works from my point of view. So I've been a little bit against them going wild with changing up the interface because right now I feel like it is actually trimmed down and a little bit less cluttered than what some of the suggestions have perhaps wanted it to be. So let's just dive in. This is going to be part one because it's going to take a while to break this all down. I'll explain why I think that they have it arranged the way that they do. And we'll just go from there. And I'm going to invite comments. I know everyone's going to have a different opinion about this, but this is just from my perspective why some of the suggestions may or may not make sense depending on what you're doing with the product. Okay, so first off, you start Artistly from this screen. Okay, so this is a welcome. It usually has, if there's a coupon code, right now it's a secret 10 for 10% off. If you don't already have Artistly and you want to help support my channel and support me, I'd love for you to use my affiliate link. I have a group on Facebook where I help with extra support. And so, you're welcome to join that. Anybody's welcome to join that, whether you use my affiliate link or not, but it is a place that I do help out. So, and then you're going to see you're going to see some updates here. You're going to see a little bit about their other products. You're going to see some of the new features. It's just kind of a little bit of everything. Some of this is updated, some of this is not. Okay, back up to the top, you're going to see, where you can see your purchases and your account. You've got your dashboard, which is what they call this. And then you have Create Design. When you go, into Create Design, you have two options. I don't talk a lot about the Advanced AI Image Designer. I'm going to be doing some videos soon on that again. I do have some videos on the Advanced AI Image Designer. It's an entirely different look. It's more of a Canva looking interface over on that side, but it's also a single image at a time designer. So that's like a totally different designer over there. It makes different looks. You can explore different things. One of the reasons I believe everybody has such a hard time with the Artistly interface. Now, we're going to be going into the Fast AI Image Designer. One of the reasons I think people have a little bit of a difficult time is because they don't understand all the different little features that they have, because some of them do similar things. However, what you have to think about is each one of these, like the create from prompt, is going to be like an individual generator. So the images you get here based on your prompting and the images that you get from version 4, and I hear a lot of people wanting to know why we still have the version 4 image designer. And the reason is originally when they launched, I want to say it was 5, they took that off. They did away with it completely, just as they had versions 1, 2, and 3. They had a replacement, I guess. They were going on replacement. They replaced the generator. But a lot of people learned to use the version 4 image designer. I'll just open it up real quick. And because it had this customized settings over here where they could tweak them and play with them, and they just liked it. And so a lot of your more artistic AI designers, the ones that are not just popping in a dog and leaving it and letting it create a dog, that are actually doing detailed prompts, a lot of us liked that designer. And we still wanted the option to use it. We asked for that and they put it back. Okay, so my philosophy is I would rather have more than less. And a lot of you who have not didn't start in the beginning with only having one designer to choose from, which is what I purchased Artistly. So I purchased Artistly and it was one designer. If I could not get and make it to do what I wanted to, then I was just out of luck. So if my prompting, if I couldn't work with it and make it work, which I did, but I had that one option, I was not able to explore all the many different prop things that we have now. So you cannot truly appreciate what Artistly has become and how much it has grown in the short period of time that it has been available if you didn't start in the beginning with one designer. So I paid the same amount back then that you all are paying now for a huge suite of different products, which is great because I get the benefit of it now too. But what I'm trying to say is back then, I still saw the potential. I knew I was on the ground floor. We are still on the ground floor of this. It is growing. And I personally, and I know other people are going to not share this, but for a $150 investment that I did almost 3 years ago now, I don't have a problem with being a little bit of a beta tester on new features. They have plenty of things that work great right out of the box, but they still have some things in beta because they're still working on it and they're giving us the benefit of allowing us to test it for them and play around with it. So if you don't want to use up your things on a beta feature, then the suggestion would be don't use that beta feature unless you're on a day where you're not needing all of your 400 or however many images that the daily fair use is. And and a little comment about the fair use, y'all. That's still a lot of images, and if you are testing in the proper way, don't test 4 images at a time. I started out doing that. I don't do it anymore. I test an image at a time until I get it set and get it performing the way I want it to, and then I create my clip art pack or whatever from that. If you're doing 4 images at a time on a prompt that's not working, you're going to use up your amount quicker than if you do one at a time. So that's just my thoughts on that. Just like I said, tips and tricks of having used it for a very long time and how you can get the most out of the product. Okay, so that's why version 4 is there. Please don't encourage them to take away anything that other people really use. It's not bothering you. You don't have to, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. Just like I don't use a lot of the storybook stuff because I write my own books. I'm going to illustrate them the old fashioned way. So I don't use those features like other people do. But I don't complain about it and want them to take them away just because it's not a feature I want to use. So, just try to understand where other people are coming from, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So this perfect text in image designer, that one again, another image designer. And the only way you're going to know what these are capable of doing, and you can push the limits of them, is by getting in and using them. And what I suggest you do, because the thing is, these features tend to change from time to time. So you're going to get new features in here. So if you have really good luck doing animal images with your prompts in perfect text in image designer or whatever, because you can do things other than things with text. It just is trained on doing text better. But if you can do that with this one, with the perfect text and image designer, then get you a little notebook and say, okay, I got really good results with this. Or I have a prompt keeper and it actually allows you to capture which designer those prompts worked well with, because you use a sound, you put your image and everything. It's Canva based. You have to have Canva Free or Pro to use it, but it's a way to keep up with your prompts. And that would be also a place where you could do one specifically for, because you can copy and use multiples. Like you could create from my template that I sell. You could take that one file and template and you could duplicate it inside Canva, 100 times if you wanted to. I don't care. But you could have one of those files that is for just what the prompts for perfect text. And then you would file those under those. When you have good prompts that you want to keep, file them under the perfect text. You're going to begin, the more you use it, you're going to figure out which ones of these designers are going to give you the image, the different images. So a lot of people I think because of just reading, you think that each image designer is only going to do a certain thing, and that's not true. Your prompts are what are going to determine what each one of these things do for you. And that's from thousands, maybe even millions of images that I've created in the past few years, even since 6 came out, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the different ones. It's going to depend a lot on your prompt, but the way that the designer treats your prompt is where you get your image magic. So depending on what you want it to look like, that prompt may work differently and is going to work differently in the regular 6 create from prompt and say the perfect text. You're going to get 2 different images. Let me just show you. Let me give you an example. I'll go over into one of my prompts just so I'm not... let's go to, we'll go to this little one right here. Now, this was originally created in Grunge Scrapbook, but I'm going to copy the prompt. And then I'm going to, I apologize, they're just wild this morning. Baby, hush. Yes, her name is Baby. Okay, so we're going to go over here. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to take this. I'm going to do high quality. I'm just going to do it in this. So we're going to look and see what that particular prompt, how it looks inside the basic. Okay. All right. So this is in the basic, and we saw what it looked like before. So similar to the grunge. Not exactly like the grunge. Let's go back and look at it again. Okay, so this was our image here. And this is the one it created inside that one. Now we're going to take the exact same prompt and we're going to go in the next one, the version 4. Now this one, I'm not going to tweak it any. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, not enhancing it or doing anything like that. I just want to get some comparisons. And I didn't change the aspect ratio, so it's just going to be what it is. And while we're just waiting on that, I'm going to go into the perfect text one. And I am going to change the aspect ratio. Okay, generate image. But we're going to see. Okay, so you see the difference? So this is why they have so many different designers. You are talking about such a large customer base that has various different uses, and for the art that they created, they have needs that are different than mine. And so that's why Artistly to me has okay, so see, that's a good example. Let's go back. Do you see the difference here? Now this is the perfect text one. And you see how much different that prompt created. So, depending on the look that you want, you use the different ones. Now, is every single prompt going to do this? No. Your prompts are individual to you, and they're not always going to create the same look based on the same, each designer is going to work differently, and it's not always going to be the same thing. Now, this is the artistic designer. This is another one that, nobody really wanted anybody. They didn't want them to do away with that one because there are things we make with that are great. But there were a couple of tweaks we wanted. So then they came out with artistic designer 2. And we've got to paste it in. And each one treats the prompt a little bit differently. Now, those typically do take a little bit longer. They're a little more artistic, and they take a little bit longer to populate. So we're going to go back in. Now, so you've got versions 1 and 2 of artistic, and then you have this photorealism. Now, see, this is what you get with your artistic designer with that same prompt. And that's why, it's so versatile because, and this is artistic designer 2. Now, I will point out that artistic designer version 2 handles minimal, looks much better. I mean, it just kind of reads everything from a minimalistic approach with the little dot eyes and the less detail. So if that's what you're looking for. Now, this one was the photorealistic. Now, that is not photorealism, but it means that when you're doing a prompt that you're asking for that photorealism, it's going to treat photorealism in a different way than some of the other ones do. But this is what that same prompt got from that. And you see what a range of different looks we're getting from the exact same prompt. That works in your favor. That allows you to come up with one really good prompt, find the various different designers inside Artistly, and create different packs, create different looks without having to do another prompt. You can tweak them based on each of the designers. Okay, so let's go back into this because we're working inside this layer, I call it, of Artistly, your AI image designer layer. Okay, so now we're up to animal. So if we go into animal, you're going to see a lot of different things. Like we could choose different, like this cinematic style. We can choose it. And then we can put our prompt in, and then we can go back here. And look at that. Look how cute. And that's what that cinematic style. Okay. So now we can go into, we're up to this seamless patterns, and everybody is loving seamless patterns version 2, and they're not making seamless patterns with them. Some people are, but it's a doggone good generator just as it is. But again, it's going to create, now it only does 1:1 aspect ratio right now. Many people are asking for them to develop it out, allow us to do multiple images, and allow us the same sort of feel as some of the other designers, rather than just the so now see this one in particular, the way this was written, we got a girl and then we got a bear. We didn't get a girl bear. So again, it shows you how it interprets things, okay, differently. Okay, so now we're up to, which one? We're up to logo. Okay, so now logo is a little bit different, but I'm just going to show you. Okay, we're going to take all of this out. And we're going to post in our prompt and see what it does, just to show you what's going on. Now, you can actually select this. So let's just see what the logo does. Now, if you want to make a logo, fine. Go make your logo. That's wonderful. We're dealing with prompts and what each one of these designers do and how to simplify the way you think about it. Now, look at this. That is under logo. And this is an adorable design under logo. We're going to go back in and we're actually going to choose the minimalist now and see what that does. See if it's any different. We pasted our prompt back in. It's a little different. It's a little different interpretation. So you see, you can use each one of those even to do art that is not a logo. So that's why it's really hard to change over the interface to get what everyone is asking for. You want it to say it'll do this specifically. But the truth is, each one of these designers does more than what they have tagged it to do. And I have done videos and videos showing different features. In fact, now more people look and test things out, probably because there were so many videos I did that said, this is not just for a t-shirt. This is not just for this. You can use it to do this with. And so now more people are exploring these tools and testing them to see what they can get out of them, which makes it really difficult for them to tag something specifically. And it also causes a little bit of confusion with those that are used to things only doing what they're tagged to do. But with Artistly, it is such an amazing product that the sky's the limit, and the label on the button is not necessarily, it doesn't restrict you to just what it says on the button. As in fact, there are not a lot of the buttons in Artistly that I can think of, other than maybe the storybook things, that actually you cannot use them to do something else with. So let's jump back into our layer. Okay, so we're up to t-shirt designs. Now, let me just show you. I'm going to show you some of the things that I did. Well, let's do this one first. We'll pick this one, and you have to erase what they've got in here and paste back in. But let's look. So now you can see that this was with t-shirt designs is what we got. All slightly different variations, and then we could go back in and we could add different things to make it give us something else. So slight variations, okay? All right, so now we go back to our layer. Actually, before we move on, let me go over here to my personal designs and let me show you some others, just so you get the range of the t-shirt designs. Let me go over here. Okay, so junk journal. So these were all made inside the t-shirt designer. Look at these. Aren't they amazing? And you can see here, actually that one's artistic. Let me go back. T-shirt design. T-shirt design. Did that. Isn't that beautiful? So you can see the range. It's not just about the teddy bears. Okay, so let's go back over here. We're up to the social media post. Now this is something different. Okay, so this is designed to help you with social media posts, but they actually have everything filled in for you. When these different buttons have things filled in, you just erase it, pop your prompt in if you want to try something different and just see what it gives you. They're just trained on different things, and they've trained it to be able to help you with social media posts. But see, you can still get different images out of it. She's cute. Very cute. And that came out of the social media post. So expand your horizons, open your minds, and dig into all that Artistly can be for you. This doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. If you don't want to make a t-shirt design, but you want to play around with the prompts and see what kind of images it gives you, if you don't want to do a social media post, but you can still use this for your regular imaging. Okay, seamless patterns. Now, this one is interesting because this one was the original. It didn't really do seamless patterns, but again, you can substitute what you're asking it to do in all those different little tweaks up there. And this one's taking a little bit longer. There we go. Look how lovely. Super cute. Look at the little tiny little details. Same prompt. And that's under seamless patterns. So if you say that's junk, seamless patterns, the regular one, it did not do for me, it didn't work for me, whatever, you need to explore it differently. We're going to try a different variation to see what the subtle difference is between the one because those are optimized to give you certain looks. Now see, look at that. Different. How cute. Similar but different. You can even tell the treatment of the colors and, the slight differences there. So you guys that are just freaking out about the buttons, get in there, dive and dig deep and just, use them. Okay, we're into posters now. So if you want to do a poster, just change and vary that, or give a new prompt that says you want a poster. That's fine. But if you don't, and you just want to have another different option for creating your images and coming up with your own unique styles, then explore the image capacity within each one of these. Now look how cute that is. This is under poster. Other unique little elements that it builds in. Okay, so we're up to stickers now. Okay, so we have the sticker. We know we can get stickers without actually asking for a sticker. So we can put our little, we're just going to test it out without it to see if it'll not make a sticker. And if it makes a sticker, that's fine too. If we want sticker style, we can usually get sticker style, but by just saying sticker style in practically all of the different versions. But see, we've got a real cute image here, and it's not really a sticker, but it is a cute image. Okay. And then let's go back. We're almost to the end of this layer. I'm going to do one of these layers in each one of the videos. So today we're just doing the AI Image Designer version 6 layer. Okay. Cards and invites. Again, cool if that's what you want to do. But if you want to replace it and try out one of your images, you can do that too. It gives you the option to change the aspect ratio and everything. So and I mean, we can tweak these images, and I'm going to show you how to do that too. Okay, look how cute that is. And that is under the colorful birthday invitation. As cute as it can be. Okay, so now what can we do? Okay, so I'm going to go into one of my playbooks. Let's go into volume 5. Let's go to, let's see, volume 5 is, okay, see, let's go back to table of contents. Let's go down to cottagecore base templates. Let's see. Let's do the rustic woodland Christmas bouquet color. Okay, so let me show you. We're going to go into this one, regenerate, and I'm going to add this to the front. So we've got a rustic woodland Christmas bouquet featuring, and let's just see. Let's just mix it up. We've got a Christmas bouquet. We've got our bear. We're going to see what this particular card maker comes up with. Look at that. How absolutely cute. It added some holly to her hair, a few little flowers down here. But look, very cute. Now let's do the same thing with, let's go into this one and see what it comes up with. Oops. Can't do that one because we've got to redo the whole thing. So let's go back to the personal designs and we're going to go back to, let's go to this one, which is the Artistic Designer 2. And let's, featuring, now that's kind of a wild combination. It was just the quickest thing I could get to. So you can see that you can tweak them, get a different little look. Now I can also, oh, look at that one. That's interesting. Now this one did not add as much floral to it, and it did kind of change up the bear quite a bit in that one, but it's still the minimal bear that you get. Okay, so I'm going to go into volume. Yes, this is the watercolor. This is volume 2. Yeah, volume 2. And so we've got these sub styles of watercolor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up and do this loose watercolor sketch, and we're going to see how that can affect that image that we had. If I can get it to, goodness, y'all, it's a Monday morning for me. Okay, so let's pop back in. Okay, so we're going to go, we'll just go into this one. This is the invitation one. So I'm going to actually add this specific style of watercolor. And now this was the one that we had before. So we changed it up just a little bit. Not a lot of difference in that one with the style. So from here to here, it did change up the style of the bear just a little bit. So let's try something else. Let's regenerate it. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for any other. This is loose watercolor sketch, gestural brushstrokes, expressive energy. So we want to remove the hand painted. And then the chalk, the light pastel chalk texture, soft powdered We're going to take those out. And then we're going to try it again. Okay. So now from this one to this one, you see a little bit lighter, not a lot, but a little bit lighter look. So you can add different things and different styles. If we go back into volume 2, you can try this illustrative storybook look. So we can replace this one. And we're going to remove the minimal watercolor. Just replace it. You can vary your styles. You can vary your colors. That's where the Playbooks come in really good. There we go. You're beginning to see a little bit of difference here. It changed up the colors, and you get just a different type of watercolor, beginning to get a different type look of watercolor. Now, again, this is where doing your different versions, like inside your different versions, do as well. Let's see. We're going to take and we're going to copy this one, and we're going to put it back into one of the other ones that we did. Let's just go back to the beginning with this one. And this is just the first layer for Artistly. We're going to explore the others later. Okay. So here, it's changing up from that one as well. With very little tweaking. We're just adding different looks. Okay. So if we want to go into the real watercolory looking stuff, let's take it into here. The artistic, where you're going to get more of a difference in your variation. It's going to take a few seconds. Okay, let's look and see what we've got left. We're down to cards and invites, so we've kind of completed each one of these, and I've shown you that you basically can use each one of these designers. You can ignore what's on the label, and you can see the different level of designers that are involved. And I'm going to be covering the AI design agents in the next video, and we'll be going step by step into what you can do into those as well. So let's go back, and you can see what a difference this kind of makes. And this is the regular artistic designer. You get more as far as the watercolors and stuff like that. Most of your artistic designers are going to give you a little bit more control over those elements. You don't have to make as drastic phrasing differences. I mean, you can use all the different types of watercolor, and they're going to show a little bit better under the artistic. than they do in the others, but that can show you. So, and this is, the only thing about this is really, it says little girl, baby bear, and this looks more like a little girl with bear ears. So what I would do to change that is I would regenerate, and then instead of calling it a little girl baby bear, I would just put a cute little baby bear with a girlish smile. And then it having the dress, the cues like that is probably going to give us more of a feminine bear, I think. I may have to tweak it one more time. But again, this is why I say single images are where you tweak. I mean, that way you get 4 chances to get your prompt down the way you want it before you start really building it out. Where if you just do one prompt and you do 4 images, they're all going to be from that same prompt. So if that prompt is not delivering what you really wanted it to deliver, just because you do 4 images of it it's not gonna magically give you the right image. Another thing about that is when you're doing it that way and you get one image you really like out of those 4, it's going to be next to impossible for you to, it doesn't do them by the individual images, it does them by your prompt. So that's just it hitting on that prompt so many times and different variations of what you gave it that it hit on something you liked, but the prompt wasn't control, that prompt didn't control that. Where if like this, if we multiply that, we're going to get some variation, but most of the elements are going to be consistently similar. I'm not sure that made, oh my goodness, I'm not sure that made any sense. Okay, that image should be popping up pretty quickly. So anyway, I hope this is going to be really helpful for you as I walk through each one of these things. And that doesn't mean they're not going to pop us up another one, which I think is awesome. Let's just kind of overview and see. We've got the ad creator now, all of these, the clip art, the coloring page. Stay tuned for the next. Be sure and catch the next layer that I'm going to do is the AI design agents. But if you go in any of these, and I'm probably going to skip the storybook for now, and then I'll go into this other layer that's gotten really huge. And this one differs a little bit in what you can do. It's tools rather than designers per se. So we'll be exploring those as well. But there really is a logical arrangement of these things. There really is. You just have to kind of look at it from the perspective of those. Now, see, we did get a little bear, and I would work on this to make her a little cuter, like a little bit more feminine. But we did get a little girl bear in a cute little arrangement here. We got our watercolory looking image. So we did tweak it, and I would tweak to get the bear the way I wanted it. But that's how you do it. That's how you would handle it. So I hope you have really enjoyed this little overview and that it will help you learn to use Artistly to get a lot more out of it and not be afraid of the buttons, because the buttons are there. They're your friends. And you can do so much with each one of these designers. You can, just like the t-shirt one. Oh my gosh, I got amazing images out of that t-shirt one with my different prompts. Now, I used one prompt. It's going to be different for all the different prompts. So just because that prompt delivered that type and look of image doesn't mean that the prompt you put in isn't going to be different. So you're going to have to test them. That's kind of, to me, part of the fun is just pushing Artistly to the limits and getting the absolute maximum out of it for me and my business. And so enjoy that process, because that is the creative process. When you're doing that, when you're prompting, when you're using the playbooks, and you're generating these images that become your style, then one of the cautions is that when you develop a style, if they go in and they tweak that generator any, then your style is probably not going to be able to be replicated exactly the way it was. So that is the new world of AI art, So we can't get married too closely to one individual style. It's going to be a progression of our style basis as AI artists, and what we can continue to develop and do. So if you think you're going to do, let's just say, especially with storybooks and things like that, where you are going to want a consistent style, my advice is go ahead and write you some books, some little storybooks. If you're going to do a 10-part series and you want to be able to replicate and have that style image, go ahead and get it done. Get your whole series planned out that you plan for that book, at least the first few. And then if for some reason, whatever generator, if you're using Midjourney even, those things change. So being able to completely replicate that may be harder to do. It may be that the technology is there, that we get better at that. But for now, keep that in mind when you're planning your products, planning your storybooks, that you may not be able to depend on that generator to replicate that exactly the way it was. And then the look across your series might be different. So just keep that in mind. Another little tip and trick, and caution, from somebody that's been using it for a very long time and who has had to develop different styles as the generators improved, or the generators became more different ones, across the scale. Yes, you need to keep those things in mind when you're planning things, because just because you can do it this way, and even with our prompts, I had prompts from way on back, but they're not going to generate those exact same images because that generator doesn't exist anymore, because it was changed. It was converted into something else when they were, and back to version 4. That's what they did. They replaced version 4 with version 5, and then it went away. So then the prompts didn't work in version 5 the same way. They didn't deliver the same images. And that's why people were upset, is because we like for them to add rather than take away. And I think they've pretty much kind of been doing that now. And I love that they're doing that, because that makes it so much better for us to give us another generator rather than taking away something we'd already based part of our content on. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it's helped. And I look forward to doing another one of these videos for you really soon. And be on the lookout for part 2 of the Artistly overview, I guess you could say. And be sure and check out all of my links in my description for Artistly, for Pixel Cut, for all of my playbooks. And thank you for watching. And until next time, happy creating.